Wish you a wonderful day. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Institution of Global Professionals free webinar. And thank you all for joining right now with us. Please stay with us till the end. My dear lovely audience, today I'm your host, Nasreen from Bangladesh. And I'm proud to be associated with IGP as a global member. I feel respected and privileged to host this webinar. And it's my delight to welcome you all to our Institution of Global Professionals free webinar. So once again, thank you all for joining in this marvelous moment. And I'm sure you all will have many takeaways and payoffs from this webinar. So each time you can share, tag, and mention your friends in our comments. Please give a thumbs up to our program and don't forget to give a thumbs up also in our official page and subscribe our YouTube channels. So my humble request to everyone, please share this webinar and mention your friends in our comment box. Dear audience, we believe that power is gained by sharing knowledge, not holding it. So let's start our program with IGP's mantra, feed your skills. So allow me to give a little concept about IGP because we have many new participants from different nations and time zones every day. So, dear audience, this is about IGP. Institution of Global Professionals serves student and community resource, providing holistic social work and education for create a proficient generation. IGP is a leading online skill development institute where thousands of learners worldwide. We make it get it able to use for every knowledge seeker to originate personality, more ambitious, make confident to face any circumstance and develop own skills. We are entrusted with international recognition. IGP is an international institution provides social work. We believe that it's not effective to increase one's skills just by acquiring formal education. So we organize our webinar training, online, offline courses, etc. by best and trained speakers and coaches from all over the world to create a best learning platform for all of you. And our mission is to empower people and enhance. So we have today our webinar number 560 and the topic is attitudes and motivation correlates to language proficiency. And before inviting our honorable speaker, let me read some comments from our active participants. We have right now Ma'am Evelyn Perry, we have Sir Joseph Nablus Placer who joined with us. Okay, we have Johaber Sarif, we have Sir Alexander Alvarez, we have Sir Innocent Dajan, then we have Ma'am Monawara, we have Charlene Kamaguchi, we have Sir Joseph Nablus Placer, we have Vincent Lee Garcia, Lisandra May. Oh my goodness, so many active persons who joined with us right now from YouTube and Facebook. And I'd like to request everyone once again, don't forget to share, comment, and tag your friends in our comment box. You can also share this program in Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn. So, my dear lovely audience, let's welcome our honorable speakers today. Welcome, ma'am, Jolene B. Sunweather. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, ma'am.
How are you, ma'am?
I'm feeling good, ma'am, right now. I'm here at school. I wasn't able to
Love,
go home.
lovely, ma'am. So, you can share your presentation, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Diyos marahay na udto sa inyo gabos. A pleasant day to all. Namaskar, tabamaseka. I am very delighted to be part of this significant event in international arena. First and foremost, I feel grateful to God for giving me vigor and faith to withstand the challenges, to go beyond my limit. And of course, I am thankful to Institute of Global Professionals for this amazing speakership opportunity. For me, this isn't about speakership, it's about holistic experience, being with people around the globe. God bless you, IGP. I salute you. So, I would like to emphasize my topic for this afternoon, entitled Attitude and Motivation Correlates to Language Proficiency. This webinar intends its best to provide insights and understanding on the significant correlation between attitudes and motivation to language learning proficiency of the students. The role of these two. So we have the attitudes and motivation that play a critical link in learning English and that the students are able to adopt individual strategies to help them in language acquisition process. Likewise, this approach highlights to promote positive language attitude or motivation, especially to those who have little or no interest in English. So that's my goal po. Considering the objectives for this webinar, I have first to adduce that affective variables have significant influences on language success. Second, stress the correlation between motivation and attitudes to language learning. Third, give hint the English language teachers to design activities that are of interest and have bearing on affective factors for the students to relate well. Fourth objective is to investigate and establish other factors affecting the attitude of students towards learning English. Fifth, present related researches on the correlation between attitudes and motivation to language learning. Then describe what it takes and how it takes to be a language teacher. Next, cite some prevalent scenario in language learning situation in some ASEAN countries. Then link learners' motivation and attitudes at home in their present language learning in school. And of course, mention studies that point on females to have more positive attitudes to learning the language than males. And we have the last to identify the characteristic of attitudes to be considered in language learning. But before we proceed, the main points of this session, let me first elaborate the important terms vital for understanding of this program webinar. More importantly, the terms like motivation and attitudes. To begin, let me have this question. What is really motivation? Motivation plays a vital role in language learning, without which even gifted individuals cannot accomplish long-term goals, whatever the curricula and whoever the teacher. Moreover, it has been widely accepted by teachers and researchers that motivation is really one of the key factors influencing the rate and success of second or the foreign language learning because it often compensates for deficiencies in language aptitude and learning. That is why it might be said that all factors involved in second language acquisition presuppose that really motivation and attitudes are important. So that is according to Samada A, Etemad Sabdeb A et al. Year 2015. Another definition of motivation is that it refers to the combination of attempt plus the desire to obtain the objective of learning the language. Motivation to learn a second language refers to the extent to which the individual works or tries to learn the language because of a desire to do so and the contentment experienced in this task. Effort alone does not indicate motivation. The motivated person spends effort towards the aim, but the person expending effort is not inevitably motivated. So that was the difference. Another thing, motivation provides learners with an aim and direction to follow. Therefore, it has a key role in language learning. So, sad fact is that due to lack of enough motivation, some difficulties may happen for learners. So, without desire to learn, it is very difficult for learners to gain effective learning. Paying attention to the importance of language will help learners improve their motivation to learn, even if they do not have enough intrinsic motivation. So, it can be stated the teacher should be aware of significance of motivation and through the chances they can help learners increase their motivation. So according to Alizadeh, year 2016 of his study entitled The Impact of Motivation on English Language Learning. And another question is, how do we define the word attitude? And how does it connect to learning the language or being proficient in the language? So one of the definition given is attitudes are the opinions, ideas, and prejudices that speakers have with respect to a language. For example, it is often said that in order to learn or in order to help to have a positive attitude toward that language. So in my case, in my 12 years of teaching, it is really an observation that when a student has a positive attitude when it comes to his or her perspective in education or in his or her learning, then there is a great effect when it comes to his education, when it comes to the way he or she views his learning. It is said that Language attitudes are evaluative reactions to different language varieties. They reflect, at least in part, two sequential cognitive processes. So we have social categorization and stereotyping. So in social categorization, what happens? So first, the listeners or the students use linguistic cues to infer speaker social group membership. And for stereotyping, the learners or the students attribute to speakers stereotypic traits associated with those inferred group membership. It is said that language attitudes are organized along two evaluative dimensions, like the status. So pag sinabi nating status, that is the being intelligent, educated, and solidarity. So for example, being friendly and pleasant. So again, language attitudes are organized along two evaluative dimensions. So we have status and solidarity. So another observation when it comes to status, if students really are well versed, witty, intelligent, with the capability to excel in academic, then common observation is that they have positive attitude towards learning the language. And when it comes to solidarity or they're being friendly or pleasant, if students are really good, I mean, they have good camaraderie, they are in good terms with their colleagues or with their friends, then there are possibilities that these students might be also acquiring or possessing positive language attitudes. It is said that the theory of the attitudes towards language postulates that an act of speech is not simply the resort to a system of signs or rules, or its use in order to communicate, but that it also implies taking up a position towards language itself. Subjects can invest language as a tool to structure references. So that is according to Marchand, year 2010. According to him, these attitudes towards language can only be perceived through words, sentences, and discourses. Yet, attitudes manifest themselves differently according to different situations. The paradigmatic or syntagmatic registers being favored by the very nature of the situation. When a situation of linguistic production calls for a specific competence, like it could be formal or communicative, the subject should be capable of using the positive attitude. Therefore, the attitude is determined by the subject's situation interaction, and the situation's characteristics must be considered before putting forward a hypothesis on the difference between paradigm and syntax in order to ascertain that the use of either competence is not predetermined. Okay? So, according to Lan and Lucas 2015, attitudes really play a critical role in learning English. Attitude is complex. There are different attitudes. Sabi, multiple differences when it comes to attitude. It is also a hypothetical construction whose general definition usually includes some notion of evaluation. Thus may be attitudes toward self, toward a language, toward English speaking people, and of course, toward the teacher and the classroom environment. So there are a lot of factors to consider when it comes to understanding the attitudes, or we say assessing the attitude of our learners. So it is said that attitudes toward the teacher and the classroom environment play an important role in school success in general and in English acquisition in particular. So, as we see it, we teachers have really a great impact when it comes to the learning of our students. Not just us, even our classroom environment. So, the question is the classroom environment conducive for learning? So that should be considered also for us to know whether our students would really have a meaningful or a favorable attitude toward starting to learn the language. So we have here, as we see it, when it comes to the motivation and attitudes, there are some research findings that say both integrative and instrumental types of motivation are related to success in second language learning. And these learning situations involve a mixture of each type of motivation. But it strongly favors, yes, other research favors that intrinsic motivation, especially for long term retention, apparently, intrinsically motivated learners are striving for excellence, autonomy, and self actualization. That is why we have this notion that if our students have a problem, for example, family problem, they come to school and they have some physical and emotional pain. They have this agony, they are emotionally distressed, then the effect or the consequence is their learning focus is not that good when it comes to learning or absorbing or accumulating the knowledge being given by the teacher. So, really, attitude toward the teacher and the classroom environment play an important role in school success. To best support this claim or those claims, I would like to present the different related studies on attitudes and motivation that tells or that correlates to language proficiency. I have included this because I believe that these studies will help you understand the topic better because it may clarify vague points about some problems. It will also guide you to make comparisons between findings with the findings of other similar studies. So, it is necessary that the related materials should have true value. So, just like in research, we are having these related studies to best support the problem that is existing, that is present. To begin, I would like to start with the study of Lan V and Lucas, year 2015. So they have this study on the role of attitudes, the positive and the negative, and of course the motivation for instrumental and integrative, and the language learning strategies. So strategies could be direct and indirect in learning English as a foreign language among Vietnamese college students. So it was revealed that the Vietnamese college students tend to have significant positive attitudes towards English, and they appear to be instrumentally and integratively motivated to learn the said language. Interestingly, the findings showed that there is a significant difference between males and females' attitude toward English. Meron pala ng pagkakaiba. However, there is no significant difference found in motivation and language learning strategies between male and female students. One one of the findings was that there is a significant and positive correlation between language learning strategies and attitudes, and language learning strategies and motivation. So there is really a connection. There is really a significant difference when it comes to language learning strategies and motivation and attitude of the learner. So, in short, the findings suggest that attitudes, motivation, and language learning strategies play an important role for Vietnamese college students. So, what does it imply? This implies that the more positive attitude and the more positive motivation students have, the better language learning strategies they use in their own language learning. So, what does it convey? This is really a big challenge, especially to us educators. It is very true that not only to Filipinos, in this study among Vietnamese, it was disclosed that really attitudes and motivations are vital for students to learn and relearn. Another study that I got was from Samada A, Etimad Sadeb, and Park H 2012, wherein their research investigated on the relationship between motivation and language learning proficiency of Iranian EFL learners studying in University Technology Malaysia. Two aspects of motivation were considered. So we have the instrumental and integrative. So in their study, respondents, they have 100 Iranian students studying in UTM and from different faculties served as respondents to reflect a variety of ideas about learning a second language. So participants were those with IELTS band score 6 and above, high achievers, and below 6, considered as low achievers. So the integrative and instrumental motivation 19-item questionnaire adapted from standardized questionnaires such as Attitude Motivation Test Battery or AMTB 1 and 2 was used as the instrument of the study. So as we know, this AMTV was developed by R.C. Gardner, and it was originally used with English-speaking Canadian primary and secondary school students who were studying French as a foreign language. So, what is the purpose? Why is it that this AMTB was created? So, the Attitude Motivation Test Battery is a research instrument which has been developed to assess the major affective components shown to be involved in second language learning. To date, its major applications have involved investigations. First, ito po, correlations of subtest and composite test scores with indices of language achievement and behavioral intentions to continue language studies. Then, the effects of specific programs, like, for example, attitudinal or motivational characteristics. And we have number three, the relation of attitudes and motivation to classroom behavior. So it provides a reliable and valid index. However, of the various attitudinal or motivational characteristics which researchers may wish to investigate in many different contexts. So, in the study of Samada et al., the findings disclosed that high achievers' language proficiency correlated well with motivation. So, this only indicated that high achievers for the second language learners were highly integrative, motivated. So, they are intrinsically motivated. Another study was conducted by Getty A. Popesco M. 2020, and they had these factors affecting the attitudes of grade 10 students towards learning EFL in Debri Marcos Comprehensive Secondary School in Debra, Marcostown. Ethiopia. So the findings of the study mainly showed that the grade 10 attitudes, the grade 10 students' attitudes towards learning EFL is positive. Yes. There are social factors. So what are the social factors? We have the English native speakers, peer groups, and learners' parents. And these all social factors affect the students' attitudes positively. So on the other hand, based on the result, educational context factors like the teachers, the educators, yan, yung English language teachers, the English language learning situation, like, just like what I said kanina, yung learning environment, the arrangement of seats, the physical learning environment, had negative impacts on students' attitude. However, the findings showed that target language learners have positive attitudes towards the other educational context factor, that is the English textbook of grade 10, which means English as a foreign language teaching materials in the studies context affect students' attitudes positively. So, by lowering the psychological variables for the target language learners, it is possible to aid the language learning process. So, what is its implication? So, the implication is it is possible to aid the language learning process, that there should be an improvement when it comes to the physical learning environment. And of course, to achieve this, the government should work in conjunction. So there should be connection, strong collaboration. Dapat tulong-tulong with the school and the stakeholders. So just like what Getty et al. Had cited, there should be a government work in conjunction with the school principals, societies, and teachers. I think this is the last related study that anchors on the correlation between motivation and attitude. So the study of Delic H, year 2020, where he discussed on the attitude of students towards learning and learning outcomes as main predictors on the basis of which teachers can establish a productive, and successful learning environment. It is said that the negative attitudes that students may have towards language learning in high school. So, the type of research design, he has this descriptive study with quantitative approach with 160 high school students in Bosnia and Herzegovina. So, the results show that students report more negative than positive attitude towards language learning, and that factors which influence their negative attitudes are school policy, learning environment, and teaching methodology. So, the results also indicate that there exists no statistically significant difference between genders, as well as between four high school grades, in terms of their interpretation on positive and negative attitudes towards English learning. So, really, there are factors which influence the negative attitude, like the school policy, learning environment, and the methods or the teaching methods being utilized or being used by the teacher concerned. So we have this figure or a diagram that best, should we say it, that best sum up the total point when it comes to correlation between attitude and motivation to their language learning proficiency. So, as we see it, the role and the relationship of the learning attitudes motivation among language learners are evident here in figure 1. So, it is said, class, that based on the figure, the language learning strategies, be it direct or indirect, are especially important for language learning because they are active tools. I mean, they are tools for active, self directed involvement, which is essential for developing communicative competence. So, appropriate language learning strategies resulted in improved proficiency and greater self confidence. So, that is the very effect of this concept, that using or having this meaningful language learning strategies, we are able to have this productive and holistic way of reaching out our students for them to be more inspired, for them to be more intrinsically motivated to adapt to whatever concepts or lessons we are trying to impart on their minds. So, as a language teacher or as educator, really, it is a big challenge for us to think of strategies, techniques, approaches on how we can best deal with our students, particularly their individual needs. Because we believe that our students are, should we say, individually unique. According to Howard Gardner, diba? There are multiple intelligences, and we should respect it. As an educator, we need to have some assessment. We need to know well our learners. That's why before we begin with our lesson, we try to do some diagnostic evaluation. We diagnose their weaknesses. We assess them. And after assessing them, we identify, we determine their particular needs. And that serves as our basis in order for us to plan well and target our objectives. Pag nagagawa natin yun, di ba, sobrang saya ng ating puso. So as an educator, really, it is a great responsibility for us to adopt, for us to apply all these language learning strategies. And I believe it all starts from us, from ourselves. That really, if we educator are also motivated, are also, I mean, if we educators also have this kind of holistic and meaningful attitude towards our work, then it mirrors, it booms. The tendency is our students also absorb the positive side of what we have. So I repeat, our role, our duties and responsibilities are indeed a very significant factors for them to learn well. Yes. Just like what I mentioned regarding motivation, I would like to pinpoint on the motivation theories. The basics. We have this numerous branches of motivation theory, but at its simplest, it boils down to two factors. First, we have the extrinsic. So we know it. Extrinsic. So when we say extrinsic, people are motivated by external factors, such as bonus for hard work or a sanction if targets are not met. Another one. So when we think of extrinsic factors, these are more on the rewards. But when we talk about intrinsic factors, people are motivated by a desire to satisfy human needs. And this might include a desire to please their boss or to achieve certain professional or personal goals. So for our students, they love this much. Intrinsic factors. Yes, especially when they receive compliments, when they are being praised by their teachers. That is a very valuable, valuable commendation for them to aspire more, for them to hit the mark. Although they also appreciate material things, rewards for extrinsic factors. So, to our dear participants, I would like to ask this from you. So, based on your teaching experience, I know there are a lot of considerations when it comes to understanding the needs of our learners, right? So, my question is, what really are the language learning strategies that best fit to your students? And how effective are these strategies to you as facilitator? Anyone? What do you think are the language learning strategies that best fit to your students? And how effective are these? Okay, you can comment your answer. So, what are the different language strategies that we often utilize that really fit to our students, especially in language class? And how effective are these? Hmm? Are you having the communicative language teaching also? We're in, or the CLT, wherein you are preparing your students to be more confident communicators for different real life contexts. Oh, what are the other language learning strategies that you are also applying in your teaching? So we are dealing on, are you having this scaffolding learning, or you are using the visual cues and prompts? So I believe every teacher has his or her unique way of teaching strategies and techniques. Yes. Like in my case, I am using this most popular teaching model for English language teaching. So I have this communicative language teaching, or the CLT, because I really would like to put my students in a variety of real life situations so they can use their language and really communicate in this real world. So in this type of language teaching, or the CLT, I mainly focus on the communication, yes, communication, rather than accuracy and lessons. Wherein, based on my teaching, this CLT are more hands-on. It's more hands-on than theoretical. So I am using a personal experience. Yes. So when you make use of personal experience, that matters most, particularly to our students. And apart from it, we encourage them to have this great interaction, especially when we have this role playing and collaborative task. Very effective po. Okay? So when it comes to the theory, it is said by Gardner that motivation includes three elements. We have the effort. So when we talk about the effort, it's your it's the effort to learn the language. And another element is the desire. It's wanting to achieve a goal. And of course, the last element, we have the positive effect, wherein you enjoy the task of learning the language. So, according to Gardner, the role of orientations refers to as a goal that aims to arouse motivation and direct it to reach the goals. So, we have these two orientations, the integrative and the instrumental. So, when we talk about integrative, it has something to do with a positive attitude towards the second language learning community and the desire to get close to the community and even become a member of that community. So, we have the other one, yung counterpart, which is the instrumental. It is like getting a better job or a higher salary. The most influential and well-known embodiment of Gardner's motivation theory is perhaps the socio-educational model, as we see it in this figure. So we have there the term motivation that centers on the language achievement. So How could this be? How can a student achieve in language learning? Of course, with by basing it on his ability. Though there are a lot of language anxiety that a student might experience or yeah might have, but then at the very center of this diagram we can see their motivation. So it only says, it only conveys that motivation is one factor that is important in socio-educational model of this Gardner's motivation theory. But the question is, how do we deal with motivation problems of our students when learning English? The first way I would approach this question is, where does my motivation or where does motivation of your students come from? It's because when you ask that question, you may reflect on the idea that the kind of motivation that pushes them to learn English can have a significant effect on how can they quickly learn a language. So, as an educator, it is very important for us to know also where does motivation of our students really come from. Because once we have the idea of that, then we could help them to learn and relearn. So, just like what I cited a while ago, this attitude motivation test battery formulated by Gardner was created to quantitatively measure the four main factors and their subunits, and also to predict the performance or the outcome of the learning. So here, we can be able to rate a set of statements. Like for example, on a set of scale of 1 to 7, or on a 6 levels Likert scale. So just like what we're doing in our research field, we are also using this scaling to assess the the present status or the present condition of our respondents in terms of any concept that we are studying. So, in Gardner's review of the socio-educational model, he named the four overarching variables. And according to Gardner, there are four. The first one is the integrativeness. And he also added the attitude toward the learning situation. Aside from the attitude, he also added the motivation. And of course, this is the very difficult part that we educator should also know or feel, because our students have a lot of language anxiety. They have fear to write, they have fear to speak, they have fear to connect to their teachers. And these are sad reality that is really alarming nowadays. So according to Gardner, in his AMTV, other variables such as instrumental orientation and parental encouragement in the AMTV are used in different settings or as needed. So it depends on the situation. And I have also added the term linguistic self-confidence because I believe that this concept is really important to understand more on the connection of the motivation and attitudes when it comes to language learning proficiency. And this is it. According to the definition, linguistic self-confidence plays the most important role in motivation in learning a second language. So, linguistic self-confidence refers to a person's perceptions of their own competence. and ability to accomplish tasks successfully. This linguistic self-confidence is established through the interaction between the language learner and members of the language community and strengthened based on the quality and quantity of these interactions. So, my dear viewers, my dear friends, I believe that the confidence of our learners matter most for them. Because if they have self-confidence, then they are holistically prepared to do whatever challenging task you give to them. Kahit gaano pa yan kahirap, kakayanin po nila. If really they have trust, they have this great self-esteem. And this self-confidence fosters language learners' identification with the language community and increases their willingness to pursue learning that language. Nowadays, reality check. When it comes to evaluating our students, especially in their writing outputs, they find it so difficult to construct even a single paragraph. So that only reflects that students have this kind of problem when it comes to linguistic self-confidence. Now, I am showing you the internal and the external factors that may affect the motivation of our learners. So we can see here the difference between the two. So as we observe it, when we say about external factors, we can add that these are significant others like their parents, their peers, their teachers. Yes. So the nature of interaction with significant others, the mediated learning experiences, and even the rewards na binibigay sa mga estudyante, it has a big impact. Yes. And even the punishment or the sanctions. What else? The resources. Nowadays, in modular distance learning, there is really scarcity when it comes to resources, instructional resources. And we educators even personally finance it. Gagasto kita just to suffice the needs. Oh, what else? So we have there the size of class and school. Oh, in Department of Education, as we see it, nung hindi pa nag-face-to-face, sometimes classes have 50 to 60 number of students. So that's a big size. So those are under external factors that may really affect the language learning proficiency of students. And for the internal factors, I would like to emphasize this one. It's the arousal of curiosity. It's the optimal degree of challenge. Paano ba sila nata-challenge ng kanilang guro? Meron ba talagang element of challenge? O as simple as that? So, is there a mastery feelings of competence? Are they aware of developing their skills and mastery? Do they have self-efficacy? I mean, do they feel self-worth, concern? So, these are all under internal factors. And to add for that, the anxiety, the fears, personal problems, and other affective matters also affect their confidence when it comes to learning the language. So those are part of internal factors. The question is, my dear students, or my dear viewers, how do we develop intrinsic motivation to our students? How do we develop intrinsic motivation? To answer that, I would like to share to you the literature from Andrea Giordano, year 2014. And according to her, the different techniques on how to develop intrinsic motivation of our students is to ask yourself the question, what do I enjoy about learning English? The second one, dream about yourself speaking the language fluently. Then, this is the third one, make friends with native speakers. And I think the fourth one that she cited is the most important thing, which is to find fun ways to learn English. So for educators, if you just rely on studying textbooks without applying other language teaching strategies, then you might be a boring teacher or you won't have a lot of fun, which in turn will crush the motivation of your students. But if you apply different teaching strategies and make them enjoy, make them feel connected, make them feel more challenged, then there could be a language learning fun when it comes to learning it. Now, I would like to highlight another theory, which is the self-determination theory. So it suggests that people are motivated to grow and change by three innate and universal psychological needs. So what does this theory suggest? So according to this theory, people are able to become self-determined when their needs for competence, connection, and autonomy are fulfilled. So here, papasok na naman si intrinsic motivation, wherein engaging our pupils in activities for the inherent rewards of the behavior itself plays an important role in self-determination theory. So you see, in self-determination theory, the intrinsic motivation factor is really, really significant. So according to self-determination theory, people need to feel the following in order to achieve psychological growth. And paano ito nangyayari? First, there should be autonomy. So how do we define autonomy? So according to the self-determination theory, people need to feel in control of their own behaviors and goals. So they should be able to take direct action that result in real change. If that's the case, then people feel self-determined. Yes. And the second one is there should be competence. So how do we define competence? Paano po nangyayari ito? So people need to gain mastery of tasks and learn different skills. In short, when people feel that they have the skills needed for success, then they are more likely to take actions that will help them achieve their goals. And last but not the least, according to self-determination theory, there should be a connection or relatedness. Diba? Whenever we feel attached or whenever we feel related or connected, then that's the time na we feel glad. We become more appreciative of it. And we have more attitude, more positive attitude when it comes to our learning. So that's what we mean by the connection or relatedness. And another one, aside from self-determination theory, is the attribution theory, which contends that the causal reasons we attribute to our past successes or failures plays a critical role in our motivation in future endeavors in that area. So, paano po ito nangyayari? So, attributing one's successes in learning the language to personal factors. So, this is very important for the attribution theory. Then, I also added the social constructivist model, wherein this cognitive perspective arose from a supposed constructivist movement that stemmed mostly from the work of Jean Piaget, and that also encompassed personal construct psychology developed by George Kelly. So George Kelly is a psychologist. So according to this model, it suggests a constructive nature of the learning process, as emphasized by Piaget. And this assumes that people are actively involved in constructing personal meaning right from birth, which talks that our learner is in control of his learning as a result of his cognitive processing and organizing in which he is learning. So, this means that our students or the individual who is learning is in control of what he or she learns based on what she thinks and immediately the environment he is in. So, as you can see, the environment really is a big factor. It may affect, yes, it affects the learning of our students, particularly when it comes to their motivation. So in constructivist model, four key elements are outlined or highlighted, which are the learner, the teacher, the task, and the context. And these four really are affecting the teaching learning process as they interact with and act on each other. So, the next slide that I am sharing with you, my dear viewers, is the motivational teaching practice, wherein this is very important, especially to teachers, to remember all these four so that we may be able to continually motivate, continually uplift the spirit of learning of our students. That despite of this pandemic, they continue. They should not be able to quit, rather surmount the test of this pandemic. Kahit gaano pa po yan kahirap. So here, in motivational teaching practice, as you can see, there are four components. And the first one is to create the basic motivational condition. So how do we create motivational condition? First and foremost, there should be an appropriate teacher
I think there's a because of a network issue, our speaker is disconnected, but we will wait for her. We are really sorry about it. Okay, right now we have so many participants who still watching and staying with us. Thank you. Please share this webinar, and you can also mention and tag your friends in our comment box. So we are waiting for our speaker. Dear audience, we are not able to provide our today's webinar code because our tech team still working with our website, and after the problem sort out, we will provide all the webinar codes in our official Facebook page. Yes, we will. Okay, dear audience, if our speaker joined us, we will start the presentation after quiz competition session. Okay, so get ready for it. Don't forget to share, tag, and mention your friends. So please enjoy this short quiz video. Okay, welcome once again in our quiz competition session. So we will start our speaker's presentation after the quiz competition session. So I'm requesting to our honorable speakers to stay with us. Right now we have 17 participants who join with us. You can see the joining link in our comment box. And you can also browse Chrome and directly go to www.slido.com and give the code that is quiz IGE. And please give a full name that will be printed in winner's certificate. Once again, I'm repeating that our tech team is working with our website. So after the problem sort out, we will provide all the webinar code in our Facebook official. Right now we have 29 participants who joined us. Thank you for joining. And today, top 10 winners awarded for quiz competition. And I would also like to thank our CSR team. Right now, we have 32 participants who joined. We have Alex Javier Alvarez. We have Carmela Bijan, Annalyn Ecker, Spini Candido, Janeline B. Dano, Elvina Montalvo, Rositi, our source. We have Gloria Carriza. We have Emily and Rufiu. We have Lays. We have Jenny. We have Lamera, Christina Rosario. We have Ginaline. We have Cheryline, Calazia Mapucci. We have Dorsey. We have Veneranda. We have Mary Day. With us. Thank you for joining. So we will start our session within a minute. So please hurry up, join with us. One new participant join with us. Okay, right now I have 35 participants. We have 37 participants who join with us. Okay, let's start it. So our first question is attitudes and motivation refers to which domain? Psychological or affective? To psychological domain or affective domain? So the right answer is option number two, that is affective. And 53% of our participants chose the right answer. In our leaderboard, we have Jenny Lins as Dela Cruz on the first position in our leaderboard, following Mary De Bayata, then we have Charlene Kawazamaguchi, following Janeline Borza Mandale, and Kyungi Saya. Congratulations to all of you. Moving to our next question. Okay, it's a true false. Character questions are used to determine a candidate's attitudes and motivation. So, is this true or false? The right answer is option number one, and 100% of our participants get the correct answer. So, congratulations to all of you. Okay, in our leaderboard, we have Charlene Kawasamaguchi on first position in our leaderboard, following Janeline Borsa, following Jenny Lee, then we have Mary De Bayata and Ricky Alcalima. So, congratulations to all of you. Next question deals with motivation, work attitudes, and leadership. In organizations, is this organizational psychology or abnormal psychology? So the correct answer is time's up. Right answer is option number one, that is organizational psychology. And 97% of the participants chose the right answer. Only 3% is choose the wrong answer. So we are sorry for that. So let's see our we have once again Charlene Kazamaguchi on first position in our leaderboard, following Janelle Rosarandave. Then we have Jenny Lee Dela Cruz, we have Mary De Bayata and Evelyn Berry. So, congratulations to top 5 winners. Let's see our next question. Okay, motivation can be both intrinsic and extrinsic. So, is this true or false? Time's up, and the correct answer is true, and 100% of our participants get the correct answer. Once again, we have Sherilyn Kalazamaguchi on first position in our leaderboard. Following Janeline Rosa, then we have Jenny Lynn Estela Cruz, we have Evelyn P. Berry, and Rosie Source. So, congratulations to top 5 winners. Moving to next question. What is intrinsic motivation? Motivation for internal reward, sense of achievement, etc., or motivation for activities in an inside setting. The right option is answer is motivation for international reward, sense of achievement, etc. And 97% of our participants choose the right answer. Again, we have Charlene Calzone on first position in our leaderboard, following Janeline Borsa, then we have Rosie Source, we have Evelyn Piveferi, and Maddie Depayata. So, congratulations to all of you. Let's see the next question. An example of intrinsic motivation is improving a time trial or getting your picture taken. So the time is up. Is option number one, improving a time trial, and 97% of our participants get the correct answer. Still, Charlene Calazamaguchi leading on first position in our leaderboard, following Rosie Source, following Evelyn P. Perry, following Mary De Bayata, and Ricky R. Colima. So again, congratulations our winners in this leaderboard. So moving next question. Student motivation is affected by their needs and aspirations. So is this true or false? The time is up. So the correct answer is true. And 100% of our participants get the correct answer. So let's check our leaderboard. Okay, again we have Charlene Kalazamaguchi on first position in our leaderboard. Second, we have Rosie TV Source. Then we have Evelyn Viperi. Then we have Mary De Bayata and Ricky R. Kalima. So congratulations. Moving to next question. If attitudes and behavior are inconsistent, individuals more likely change either their attitudes or behavior or change their attitudes. You have to choose one option. The right answer is option number one, and 94% of our participants choose the right answer. In our leaderboard, still Charlene Kalajamaguchi leading on first position, following Rosie Source, following Evelyn Pivapuri, following Mary De Mayata, and one new name that is Palma. So congratulations to all of you. We have last two more questions. Moving to next question. What is the behavioral component of attitudes? How they respond to an object or what they know about the object. The right option is how they respond to an object, and 94% of our participants right answer. Still no change in our leaderboard. On first position, we have Charlie Calzamaguchi. So we have Rosie Dio Source placed second. Then we have Evelyn P. Vaperi placed third. We have Mary Debayata placed fourth, and Alma placed fifth. So moving to last question, question number 10. What is the cognitive component of attitudes? What you know about your attitude towards the object, or what you know about the attitude. Correct answer is option number two, and only 9% of our participants choose the right answer. So, okay, we have our winner's name in our leaderboard. We have Charlie Magni Vernas on first position in our leaderboard, following Sterling Kalazamaguchi plays second. Then we have Rosie P. Source plays third. Following Evelyn P. Veperi plays fourth. Then we have Christina Vedel Rosario plays fifth. Let's see the other's name. Mary De Bayata plays sixth. Then we have Palma plays seven. Then we have Ricky Arcolima plays eight. Janeline Bidano plays nine. And Mary Isla Crisel plays 10. So congratulations to our top 10 winners. So give a virtual clap for our winners. Again, congratulations to our top 10 winners. You will get your certificates from our Facebook official page. So collect your certificates from our official page after the program. So again, I'm reminding all of you, don't forget to share, tag, and mention your friends in our comments. So we are moving to our honorable speaker. Hello, ma'am. Ma'am, please unmute your microphone.
Yes po.
Yes, you are disconnected for a while. I think because of network problem, and that is why we are start our this competition. So you can continue the presentation again, ma'am.
What particular slide po? I was not able to notice it, ma'am. I was disconnected.
I think it was in a theory that you are sharing.
Ah, all right. So the theory.
Yes.
Okay. So, so we have the self-determination theory, ma'am. Was this the last slide po? Okay. So I was not
I'm
able to
sharing.
notice it that I got disconnected. Ma'am,
So,
can you see the full screen po?
no, ma'am. Please share it again.
Ah, okay. Share. Ay, ma'am, can you see it?
No, ma'am.
Ah, hindi. Bakit? OMG. Sir Paul. Paano ko na nga po, Sir Paul, nag-share? Pwede pong sa sharing po. Nakat pa yan, sir. Paano ka na nga po, sir, nag-share? Hindi ko na malay, na-disconnect pala ako, pero doon naman sa bandang dulo po. Hindi doon lang sa bandang dulo, sir, dito na sa bandang sa last na. Saan dyan, sir, yung screen share? Akala ko na. Pasaway. Akala ko question and answer portion na.
Ay, ganyan.
Ay, dito, sir. Saan naman yun?
Ito na to, no?
Mm-mm.
Ay,
Mm.
sige, karat lang ba? Pag-hide mo lang yun.
Share screen slides. Share screen siguro, sir.
Screen.
Ano to, sir? Sino no?
Share na to eh. Saan naman ito? Ah, share screen
Share
yan.
screen, oo.
Opo.
Mm.
Yan.
Mm-mm. So, share. At tapos isa na ibutan ko na lang doon sa sa reading. Ito na
Yes,
lang.
ma'am. It's visible.
Okay.
Duman na lang, dito na lang. Kasi ba? Dito yun, dito yun. Kuya po.
Na ano nila? Nakikita nila.
Is it full screen already, ma'am? Full screen po?
No, it's not full screen.
Ayan, sa
Still.
reading talaga, sir. Duman na, sir. Sa
Kasi nakita nila.
Click the reading view option.
tapos na ako. Pa pala.
Yes, it's working.
Ah, okay. Okay na. All right. So, I apologize for some technical problem. So, I start with the theory that I presented. So, we have the self-determination theory. So, self-determination theory that suggests that people are motivated to grow and change by three innate and universal psychological needs. So, it suggests that people are able to become self-determined when their needs for competence, connection, and autonomy are fulfilled. So meaning, these three factors are very significant when it comes to the self-determination theory. And here to add, of course, the concept of intrinsic motivation, wherein we are able to engage our students with a very rewarding activities. And that plays an important role in this theory. According to this theory, people need to feel the following in order to achieve psychological growth. So when we talk about autonomy, it is where people need to feel in control of their own behaviors and goals. And this sense of being able to take direct action that will result in real change plays a major part in helping people feel self-determined. And another factor is competence. So when our students have this mastery of task and they are learning different skills, they feel that they can achieve their goals more. And of course, we have this connection or relatedness. So what do we mean by connection or relatedness? So people need to experience a sense of belonging and attachment to other people. In reality, nangyayari po talaga ito. Whenever our students feel connected, they feel intimately related with their peers, or let's say, for example, with their families or with their teachers, then most likely they develop the attitude of being more confident, more determined. And the tendency is, yung effect nito when it comes to their perspective in studies, nagiging positive rin. So, that's what we mean by self-determination theory, which is more on intrinsic factor. And for attribution theory, it contends that the causal reasons we attribute to our past successes or failures plays a critical role in our motivation in future endeavors in that area. And we can say that this attribution theory is likewise connected or linked to personal factors. Personal factors. While the next model, which is the social constructivist model, which was stemmed mostly from the work of Jean Piaget, which encompassed personal construct psychology. And this suggests that people are actively involved in constructing personal meaning right from birth. So this brings the learners into central focus in learning theory, as everyone is constructing their own sense of the world, which is the key to constructivist perspective. So in short, learners are keenly motivated or have positive perspective if they are able to construct their own sense of the world. They have this control of their learning. They are able to cognitively process and organize what they are learning. Meaning, in social constructivist model, there is an application na i-apply nila kung ano yung natututunan nila. And the individual who is learning is in control of what he or she learns based on how he or she thinks or in what way he or she thinks. And in this social constructivist model, as I emphasized a while ago, it has four elements or four key elements, like the learners, the teacher, the task, and the context. And these four elements are very important when it comes to the teaching learning process. I also presented here the motivational teaching practice, which have 4 components. And the question is, how do we motivate our students to learn better, for them to be more reflective of their learning status when it comes to English learning proficiency? And there are 4 components, and here are they. The first is creating the basic motivational condition. So first and foremost, how do we create the basic motivational condition? There should be appropriate teacher behavior. When I say appropriate teacher behavior, that means to say the teacher, the educator should be encouraging, should be pleasant, should be supportive to whatever learning needs of his or her students. That's how we mean by creating the basic motivational condition. And the teacher also should be able to establish cohesive learner group with appropriate group norms. So dapat may mga group norms tayo para organized po. And another, apart from creating the basic motivational condition, we also need to have this component, which is encouraging positive retrospective self-evaluation. So how do we do this as an educator? Of course, first and foremost, we need to promote motivational attributions. And apart from it, we need to provide them motivational feedback. Feedback is very important so that our students can also assess their learning ability, their learning status. And by means of feedbacking, they are able to increase their satisfaction. And by means also of offering rewards and grades in a motivating manner, our students are highly encouraged to positively interact and collaborate with the lessons that we are giving to them. So that is the second component. And the third component is generating initial motivation. So when we talk about generating initial motivation, it's when we enhance the learner's related values and attitudes. Or in our school or in Department of Education, we term it as the core values. So here, in generating initial motivation, there is a need to increase the learner's expectancy of success. Because when we do that as educators, we heighten their optimal expectation that they can be able to achieve their goals in life amid adversities. Kahit gaano pa yan kahirap, kung sasabihin natin sa kanila, ipaparamdam natin sa kanila na kayang-kaya nila amid difficulty, they will get inspired and motivated to continue surmounting the test. And it is also important to make the teaching materials relevant for the learners. So we as educators, we need to adapt to the 21st century trends. Like for example, when we use the PowerPoint presentation or the other video lessons that we would like to utilize to our lessons. So it is also important. And another thing under generating is we need to create realistic learner belief. And the last component is maintaining and protecting motivation. So how do we do this, my dear viewers? So in maintaining and protecting motivation, it is very important to make our learning environment stimulating. We should be presenting them tasks that are motivating and of interest to them, that they will be allowed to maintain positive social image, and they will be more collaborative and establish in their own the importance of autonomy. So napakahalaga po na sa pag-maintain and protecting their motivation, kinakailangan meron tayong mga different self-motivating learner strategies as educators. That is why napakabigat po ng role ng pagiging isang educator. So, in this 21st century era, kailangan makasabay tayo sa flow. We need to have divergent thinking when it comes to maximizing our skills and talents in teaching our students. And so before I end this session, I would like to pinpoint this very meaningful quote, which says, "Ability is what you're capable of doing, motivation determines what you do, and attitude determines how well you do it." Thank you so much po.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you for sharing your valuable lesson. And we will start session with our participants after a short video, ma'am.
Yes po. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Hello, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. I'm here po.
Welcome again in our Q&A session. So, my dear lovely audience, please ask your question in our comment box and please address our speaker's name in the comment section. So, we are waiting for your question. And I think I saw a question from when you are sharing your presentation. This is from Dave Bayata. Okay. Good afternoon, Max Salvador. Other than attitude and motivation, what other variable that you recommend for future studies? It is to be correlated to English proficiency. So this is our first question.
Okay, thank you so much, Ma'am Day Bayeta, for that question. So other than attitude and motivation, what other variables that you recommend for further studies to be correlated to English proficiency? So I think the other factors or the other variables that may be correlated or yes, that may be connected to English proficiency is their reading and writing competence. I remember that topic was my topic in my master's degree, wherein I was able to prove, based on my findings, that reading ability and writing competence really are correlated to English reading proficiency.
So thank you, ma'am. We are still waiting for our new question from our participants. So, my dear lovely participants, please ask your question to our comment box. We are waiting for a question. Comment in our comment box, ask to our honorable speaker. Yes, we are. Next question from Evelyn Meperi. Good afternoon, Ma'am Evelyn. How to help a learner with low self-confidence in learning second language? Thank you.
Thank you, Mom Evelyn Waferi. So, Mom Evelyn was asking if how could I help my learner with low self-confidence in learning the second language. So, I would like to go back again with the concept that I pointed on a while ago regarding the intrinsic motivation. So, we as educator, we need to be more familiar with the effect. Yes, the benefit that intrinsic motivation is giving to our students. So when I say intrinsic motivation, we are talking about praising them, making some compliments. We believe that every student is individually unique. They have different needs. And we educators, we know that because from the very beginning, we do some diagnosis. That's why before we begin with our instructions, we know already, we determine already the level of proficiency that our students are having. So, upon diagnosing their needs, makikita po natin doon yung mga estudyante natin na may low self-confidence. And we as educators, we become mothers. We become mothers of them. We feel their hearts, we feel their needs. That's why our strategies, our teaching strategies should be directed, should be connected on it, on the diversity of our students. So again po, Ma'am Evelyn, we focus po on intrinsic motivation.
Thank you, ma'am. And
Thank you po, ma'am.
I remember that you shared that the educators also should be holistic and positive to their work.
Yes, ma'am, exactly. Yes po.
We have comment from Isaiah Kiangi, great and honor
Yes, ma'am.
to you, to our speaker. And still we are waiting for new question. lovely audience. Still, we are waiting for your question. So, give your question to our comment box and our speaker. We still waiting for your question.
Maybe.
Thank you so much, ma'am. The will be so better, and the presentation is very excellent. And we expect that our learners get benefited from this presentation. Thank
Thank
you,
you so
ma'am.
much also, Ma'am Nasreen. It's my pleasure being here. Thanks, IGP.
Thank you, ma'am. Have a good day, ma'am.
Okay po. Okay, ma'am. Thank you po.
Hey, my dear lovely audience. Today we can't provide our webinar code because still our tech team is working with our, they're trying to sort out the problem with our website. So we are providing the today's certification link in our comment box. So thank you for joining. Thank you for participating in our quiz competition, in our QS session, and we believe that you will get benefited. You all will get benefited in your personal and professional life, and we wish that you all are remaining with us in long journey. So I'm inviting to all of you to our next webinar. Till then, stay happy, stay healthy wherever you are. I'm Nasrin. I'm signing off right now. Have a good day.